Hello everyone, this is Mushfiq and today I'm gonna make a video on Common Lisp, which is basically a programming language. Why I'm making this video? As a computer science engineering student, all of us have to face many problems, like we didn't find enough resource for any topic. Recently I had to make this slide for one of my courses, and I also faced many problems. I didn't find enough resource, but after all I make this with many resources, so I think I can share this with you guys. It can help you. So without further ado, let's begin. Common Lisp. What is Common Lisp? Common Lisp is a descendant of Lisp programming language. What is Lisp? Lisp is basically the short form of Lisp processing, and Lisp was established in 1958, and it has many descendants like dialects like Racket, Common Lisp, Scheme, Closure. Common Lisp is the combination of many features of Lisp programming. It was developed by early 1980s based on ANSI standard documents. It is basically used in machine learning and artificial intelligence. In machine learning and artificial intelligence, many programmers use Lisp as it is basically used in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Its paradigm. Lisp basically is a declarative language, functional programming language, but Common Lisp is multi-paradigm. It supports both imperative and declarative paradigm, and it supports procedural, supports procedures, subroutines, and it also supports object-oriented programming, supports polymorphism and inheritance. And declarative, it's a functional programming language, main means of computations, applying functions to given parameters. Now, Common Lisp is a dynamic language. Features: code can be executed during runtime, type system can be changed dynamically, do not need any data type explicitly while writing. As when we write static code, we had to give a variable or data type, which is int a. It means it is an integer variable and the value of a is 5 assigned. But in Common Lisp, we didn't need any data type. We just write a5. This is the way how we write a variable and assigning its value in Common Lisp. Common Lisp consists with arrays, string characters, and complex numbers, powerful input-output capabilities, iterative control statement, and many more things. Common Lisp has many special characters: parentheses, double quote, quote. In Common Lisp, parentheses are used for writing the statements. All the program we write in Common Lisp is between two parentheses, and like this, if we had to add two numbers, we just write it between parentheses, and 4 plus 5 and 9. And one thing, in Common Lisp we write operations like plus operator, then operands. This is called the prefix notation, and as you guys see, 4 plus 5 is 9. And double quote is basically used for string characters, and we write string characters in double quotes, and like this, in double quote abc, it is a 3-character string. And single quote, the quote suppresses operations, and it is used for creating list. What is the meaning of suppresses operations? And like this, if we normally write 6 plus 5, it will print 11, but if we use a quote operator before the program, and like this, it will print 6 plus 5 again. Make sense? Now I am gonna show you how this works. For Common Lisp, we use many compiler. This GNU C Lisp, you will find it in Google. This is used for Lisp, Common Lisp operations. Now I am show you how the quote operator works. Like this, if you just add two operators like 4 and 5, it will give you result 9. But if you give a quote before the operation like this, then plus 4 5, it will show you the exact as you write before. That means, makes sense, right? Yes. Now, identifier names. What is an identifier? An identifier refers name that is used to identify variables, functions, structures. In Common Lisp, variables name can be only characters. It can have symbols in name. Example, like these symbols can have in names. It can also have numbers and characters combined in name, like AB1, AB $, and case sensitivity. What the meaning of case sensitivity? Case sensitivity is basically the thing, if you write like in a program you declared a variable like name like a b, and this is the uppercase, and if you write or call the variable in next in program and write in lowercase, but it didn't work because it is case sensitive. You declared the variable in uppercase but you write now in lowercase, but this is the case sensitivity. In common Lisp there is a misconception that common Lisp is case insensitive, but by default the common Lisp reader is case converting. When we write characters in uppercase or lowercase, it automatically by default converting it to uppercase. Like this, if we write in lowercase abc, it will print uppercase abc. This makes everyone think that it is case insensitive, but it is misconception. Why? Because as we know, we can use symbols in name in common Lisp, so symbols are case sensitive. As in common Lisp we can see symbols in name. Suppose we'll write a variable name area % and area sharp, both are same area but these symbols are different, so these are different variable, so this is a case sensitive language. Now keywords of common Lisp. A lot of keywords are available in common Lisp defining a variable. For defining a variable we used a keyword which is devvar. Devvar is used for basically defining a variable. Devvar x5, this means we defining a variable which name is x and assigning its value 5. And same defining a function, define keyword is used for defining a function. This is the syntax of a function. Define fun, those are the parameters, 2 parameters of function fun, then the body. Here defining the function fun, and parameter 1, parameter 2 is 2 parameters. And there are many more keywords. Set q, set f, set let is used for variable declaration and assignment. Set q x5 means it sets the value of 5 in x, and equal p, which is used for equality test, and thus you see the examples eq 42 which gives us the result true. T and nil are boolean constants for true false. There are many more keywords such as eval, which is used for evaluation, min max used for comparison, etc. And this is the form how we can comment between quotes. What is commenting? Commenting is basically when we do quotes, we used to write some notes which when we will read the code after writing, just for for then we understand the code by reading the notes, and we can use this for writing commenting in code in common Lisp. In common Lisp, keywords or reserved words can be used as identifiers also. As far as we know, identifiers is variables names and function names. In common Lisp we can use reserved words or keywords, which is this means devvar, define or set q, eq. We can use it as identifier names also, like devvar define 5. We are defining a variable and we can give its name define, but define is a keyword for defining a function, but we can use it as a identifier, and here we assigning a value of 5 for it, and the result is 5. Here we defining a variable whose name is define and value is 5, but define is a reserved word. It is a keyword for defining a function, but we can use it as an identifier. Now I can tell you about the global variable and local variables in common Lisp. Global variable, def parameter declares a global variable and assigns a value. Here def parameter, which is a keyword, it defining a global variable which is foo. It's between the star marks, and here we assigning its value 42 here. And set f provides a uniform way to assigning values to variables. Uniform way means it can assign value for global variables and local variables also. And set f name value is the syntax, and def parameter foo 42, but here we set uniformly for the value of the global variable, which is plus foo 1, means here 1 increases, 42 plus 1, which is 43. And local variables, sometimes we want to store intermediate results, let star, create temporary value bindings for symbols, def parameter foo. Here we defining two global variables which is foo and bar, which value is 42 and 100. Now we let the value for bar without not assigning the value 100, we just let the value 7, then we declaring a local variable bus1, then our operation plus bus bar foo. Here bus value is 1, bar value is 7, cause we let the value 7 not 100. Then the foo variable 42 plus 7 plus 1, which is 50. Reading input from keyboard, which means in C we use scanf, but in Common Lisp we use a function which is read function, which is a predefined function. The read function is used for taking input from the keyboard. It may not take any argument. Example, write plus 15 read. Here the second value read by the keyboard input. Here if we enter 10.2 from starting input, it returns 25.2. The read function reads characters from an input stream and interprets them by parsing as representation of Common Lisp objects. Example, here we give a code example. Here we defining a function which name is area of circle and terpre. Remember one thing, the terpre is used for new line. How to write a new line or print a new line? Just giving the terpre. And print C is used for printing something. Enter radius. Here this will just print, then set q radius read, the value will be keyboard input, and that's how the function works. Set q area, here we give the operation for area, which formula is pi r square. Here the value of pi, then radius into radius, which will give us the value of area. Then scope. There are a few kind of scope that are particularly useful in describing Common Lisp. Common Lisp basically using two scopes, which is dynamically scope and lexical scope. Variables in Common Lisp are all lexical by default. However, dynamically scope variables can be defined at the top level using defining variable or defining parameter, def parameter, def var. Dynamic scope, when a variable is dynamically scoped, the system looks to where the function is called to find the value for the free variable. Here you see an example. Here we use def var and global variable 5, then it prints special. Why special? In Common Lisp, when we just write a code, then presses enter, it just print the variable name. Then after, if we code the variable name, it will give us the answer. Like if after this, when we here, like see here, we defining a function check special and we giving its body the value of special 5, and when we press enter, it will print check special, but then when we call the function check special, it will print 5 cause its body is 5. And in this example, the function check special references a special which is dynamically scoped variable, since the call to check special is temporarily inside of the let, which binds special. Check special returns the variable's local value. And lexical scope, when a variable is lexical scope, the system looks to where the function is defined to find the value for a free variable. Here we see the example. Set, we set the value regular, which is 5, then defining function check regular, same thing, and let regular 6, but now two differences. When we here we let special point 6 check special, when we calling check special, it just as it a dynamically scoped variable, and we let the value for special is 6, it just give us the result of 6. But in this, the result is 5 with though we let the value 6, but the result is 5. Why this is 5? Cause this is lexically scoped. We set the value regular 5. Now see here, we are calling the value of regular, which is 5. Now here we call the function check regular again, and the value returns us 5. Data types. Data type is a set of possible objects. What is data type? The int, float, double, which used in C, CPP, is basically the data type. Now here in common Lisp there are not special kind of data types, but some data types is used here. Type P is used for ask whether an object is from a given type or not. Means if we give type P5, it can be asked like is it an integer or float or something else, and type of returns a type which is given object belongs. Means if we write type of 5, it will give the answer of integer. Means here you can see the example type of 12 which is integer, and type of 0.2 which is float, single float. And here integers we can not have to write int or something else. We just define variable x 55 which is integer, and float x 0.55 is float, and we can write strings between double quote ABC. This is the string. And type system of common Lisp are strongly typed language, cause common Lisp typing errors are prevented at runtime. Type expressions is implicit with optional explicit typing. Typing compatibility and equivalence structure for implicit typing, normal for explicit typing. Type checking, dynamic, some static checking depending on implementation. How Lisp works in common Lisp. Lisp processing. In common Lisp there are some functions for list processing, like const builds up new list, char returns the first element for a list, and cdr the rest of the list. And fast and rest do the same thing as char and cdr works. Now first I give you a written example in the compiler, then it is easy for you guys to understand. Like if we like this char, then remember one thing, we read single quote used for creating lists. Now if we just use a single quote, that means it is a list. If we write now 1 2 and 3, this is basically a list of 3 characters which is 1 2 and 3, and we are giving an operation which is char. What char means? Char basically do the thing of, it will return us the value of the first element of the list which is 1. Exactly, this is the 1. And cdr returns the rest of the list which is cdr. If we type 1 2 3 4 5, it will return us sorry, I have to end the bracket, and it will return us 2 3 4 5, the rest of the list. And some more functions like reverse, then 1 2 3, it will reverse the list like 3 2 1, as you see 3 2 1. That's how common Lisp lists are works. And fast and rest do the same thing as char and cdr do. And const builds up new list. It's mainly appending 3 lists together, it's combining 3 lists together. How it works, const 1, from here const 3 and nil, it combines 3 and nil together in a list which is 3, the next value is nil. And now const 2 and this list which is 3 and nil, and 2 and 3 is combining into a list. Then 1 const 2 3 which give us the value of 1 2 3. That's how const work, char, cdr and fast rest works. And now there are some more operations. List 1 2 3, it gives the result of the list itself, it will print the list itself. Append basically combining many lists together, like here we have 3 lists 1 2 3 4 5 6. The append function combines all 3 lists together like 1 2 3 4 5 6 here. And length prints the list length which is 1 2 3, its length is 3, it will print 3. And reverse, I will give you I just give you the example of reverse. And to basically nth is used for printing the nth number value of the list. If we write nth 9, it will print the 9th value of the list. Here 9 nth 2, it will print the second value of the list, which is, remember, second value means 0 1 2. This is the second value, first one is 0. It prints the nth value which is 3. Example, now the code will show the whole of these exam codes together. Like here we defining a function which name is myAppend. It's just name of the function, and it has two parameters. Parameter names are list1, l1, l2. These are the names of the parameters, and here is a condition. What condition do we will see next, but it, remember one thing, it is like if else. If this happens, that will not happen, or if that happened, this will not happen, like this. Condition first condition is not list p. What list p do? List p checks is it a list or not, like if this one is list or not. If list one is not a list, then it will print. Remember one thing, in common Lisp we can print using format t. What is the format of printing using format t? Just write the string characters what you want to print between two double quotes, in double quotes, and just before it you write format t, and at last list one. Format t, if list one is not a list, it will print cannot append first argument is not a list, and this signs used for creating new lines. And not list2 means if list p is not a list, it will print cannot append second argument is not list, not a list. And third condition is null list1, means if the values of list1 is null, it will print the value of list2 simply. Then if it will check if list2 is null, then it will print list1. Otherwise it's basically like recursive function. It checks the conditions, or if this happens, not that happened, and rest of the work else. True. Cons, we see how cons works. This car list1, it will print the first value of list1, then myAppend function calls again and again, then cdr list1 means the rest of the things of list1 here, then it will append with whole list2. Now we got rest of the list1 and list2 together, then we just simply cons it with the car list1, which is the first value of list1, then it will give us the result of first list value and second list value in one list, which is append function. Basically this one, we are in this code we are doing the same function as append, but we are showing here how this append function works. It's basically like this. Car1 means list1, the car1 list1 values first value 1, then rest of the list which is cdr list1, then append function calls with list2 and list3. That's how this works. And functions, how there are some pre-built functions which is arithmetic functions, plus, minus, pointer, multiplication, division. All of them are functions in common Lisp. sqrt is used for square root. We just simply if we write sqrt of 4, which will give us the result of 2, means square root of 4 is 2. abs is used for absolute value, means -4. If we write abs -4, which will give us the result of absolute value of -4, which is just 4. Even p checks is the number is even or odd, like even p 2, 3. That's how it works. And list p checks, is it a list? I told you before about that. And creating a function, this is the syntax: defining function name, then parameters, then body. Like this, here we defining a function name average and giving it parameter xy, then the body which is the operation of the parameters x plus y. Like I told you, this is a prefix notation used operations. We have to adding x plus y, but we give the operator before the operands. Here x plus y, then it will be divided by 2, which will give us the result 15 when we call the function average and giving it value 10 and 20. 10 plus 20 is 30, divided by 2 is 15. Now recursion in common Lisp, it's the function for factorial. Here we defining a function named factorial n, and if n equals 0 it will print 1, otherwise n into factorial n minus 1, which is the formula of factorial. Now tail recursion. Tail recursion is a function which result is the value of return value of another function. Here you see the example of tail recursion. And lambda functions, a new function in Common Lisp. Common Lisp allows you to write anonymous functions that are evaluated only when they are encountered in the program. This means we didn't need to declare a global function, or we didn't need to write the function before starting the code. We can use it anytime, anywhere between a code. Like we write 5 and 6 lines in a code, then we just want to declare a function and do it in a single line. We can do it using lambda function. How it works, what is the syntax of it? Lambda parameters body, like this, right? We just writing the function whose name is lambda, and we giving it parameter a, b, c, x, then the operations a, here x into a, here b into x, then all three together adding 4293, which will then we assigning the value without calling the function again. We just giving the value within the body of the function, lambda function, and it will give us the output 51. And that's all for today. I will talk about control statements, loops, and macro subprograms, and OOP operations, object oriented programming operations, in next video. That's all for today. I guess this video helps you a lot. Basically we had to face many difficulties for the lack of if we search in Google or YouTube like lambda functions in Common Lisp, we cannot find it easily. We had Google have all the resources, but in Wikipedia or in simple Word documents, which is pretty much boring to read and then understand. So I had to make this slide. So I think if I can share those with you guys, it can help you a lot. So I am making this video. If you like this video, please comment below and give a like to this video, and if you want more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you. That's all for today.